Ladies, what if I told you that doing less could actually make a man fall deeper in love with you? Less texting, less proving, less chasing. Sounds strange, right? But what if the real magic happens not when you try harder, but when you simply stop trying to be enough for someone who hasn't even shown he's worth you? Let's talk about something no one tells women, not because it's a secret, but because we've been taught the opposite our entire lives. Part 1. Stop chasing, start attracting. You've probably heard, don't chase a man. But the real question is, how do you know you're actually chasing him? Chasing doesn't always look like calling or begging. Sometimes it looks like overthinking that one-word text he sent. Sometimes it looks like checking his social media, hoping for a sign. And sometimes it's convincing yourself he just needs more time, even though your heart feels the distance. Here's a golden rule. If you're taking more than 2 steps forward without him meeting you halfway, you're not dancing, you're dragging. You send a message, then a follow-up, then you try to keep the conversation alive. But he's giving you crumbs. Sweetheart, you are not a woman made for crumbs. You are a feast. And the man who's hungry for what you truly offer, your depth, your love, your energy, he won't need to be chased. He'll meet you in the middle, always. Part 2. When in doubt, do less. Here's something powerful. When you feel unsure about where you stand with a man, don't do more, do less. Less texting, less explaining, less overgiving. Let the silence stretch. Let him feel the absence of your energy. Let him realize that you are not always going to be the one holding the connection together. You see, real feminine power isn't loud or aggressive. It's still. It's magnetic. It's the ability to say, if you're meant for me, you'll find your way back without me having to lose myself. You're not doing it to play hard to get. You're doing it to protect your peace. Because every time you overextend for someone who isn't meeting you, you're teaching your nervous system that love equals stress. And you deserve love that feels like safety, not survival. Part 3. Mindset over movement. The energy that makes a man chase you without force. Let me ask you something personal. When he takes hours, or even days, to respond to your message, what's the first thing that runs through your mind? Do you spiral into self-doubt? Do you quietly say to yourself, he must be losing interest? Maybe I said too much. What if I pushed him away? Or do you breathe deeply, center yourself, and say with quiet power, his inconsistency is not a reflection of my value, it's a reflection of his. This, right here, is where everything changes. Because no matter how beautiful you are, no matter how caring, funny, or charming, your mindset determines the energy you project. And your energy? It's everything. It speaks before your lips move. It shapes how a man sees you. It decides whether you become unforgettable or easily replaceable. You have 2 choices in those uncertain moments. Will you operate from anxiety or from your worth? When you operate from anxiety, every silence feels like a threat. Every pause becomes a panic. Every unread message turns into a story of not being enough. You start shrinking, questioning, overanalyzing, trying to fix what was never yours to fix in the first place. But when you operate from self-worth, everything shifts. His silence, it becomes a filter, not a wound, a mirror showing you his capacity, not your shortcomings. You stop thinking, why isn't he choosing me? And start asking, is he even capable of handling the woman I've become? You see, a confident woman doesn't chase, not because she's arrogant, not because she doesn't care, but because she knows she's not meant to convince anyone of her value. She doesn't perform, she doesn't beg, she doesn't build castles in her head for men who only showed up with bricks of inconsistency. She knows she's the prize, not the persuader. And that kind of energy, that kind of still feminine power, it's magnetic, It's the energy that makes a man stop in his tracks. It's the energy that makes him wonder why you're not chasing and drives him to chase you instead. Because deep down, men aren't drawn to women who try to prove they're worthy of love. They're drawn to women who already know they are. Women who don't flinch when a man pulls back, because they know the right one will lean in. So the next time he takes too long to reply, pause, breathe, and don't react. Respond with standards, not by sending a clever text, not by posting something to get his attention, but by anchoring into the truth that you are not waiting to be chosen. You are observing to see if he's worthy of entering your world. Remember this, you're not an audition. You are not someone's maybe. You are the whole damn role. And only men who show up with respect, consistency, and clarity get to be cast in your life. Your worth is not up for debate. Your time is not a playground. And your heart, that's sacred territory. So let him take his time, while you take yours back. Because the woman who leads with mindset over movement, she becomes unforgettable. And that, my love, is the quiet power that changes everything. Part 4. Stillness is your superpower. There's a sacred power in stillness. When you don't rush to fill the silence, when you don't shrink just because he's pulling away, when you pause and say, what would the highest version of me do right now? That's the moment a man sees you differently. Because stillness shows him that your peace is not for sale. He feels your boundaries, not as barriers, but as standards. He starts to realize that your love is a privilege, not a guarantee. Ladies, men are drawn to women who don't chase, not because they play games, but because they respect their own energy enough to wait for someone who values it too. So I want you to ask yourself this question, and be honest. What feels more uncomfortable? Not texting him and risking him forgetting you, or texting him first and getting a half-hearted reply that stings your heart? Because one option may hurt for a moment, but the other will keep hurting as long as you keep giving to someone who doesn't give back. And here's the truth. The women who become unforgettable are not the ones who chase. They're the ones who lean back and let their energy speak louder than words. So next time your heart wants to reach, fix, or explain, pause, and let the version of you who knows her worth lead the way. Because the woman who sits in her value is the woman no man ever forgets.